Welcome to the Famicos podcast. My name is Kira Johnson. I'm an AmeriCorps Vista with Famicos Foundation. And today I'm joined by Sadie Sandlin and Adrian Mosley, and later I'll be joined by Candace Wood. And before we dive into talking to them about some of the programs at Famicos, we're going to dive into some information about Famicos in general and just some of the events that we have going on right now. So in general, the Famicos Foundation, their mission is to improve the quality of life in the greater Cleveland area through neighborhood revitalization and also affordable housing and the integrated social services that they provide. We're located at 1325 Ansel Road in Cleveland, and if you want to find out more information about us, you can go online to famicos.org, or you could also call us at 216-791-6476. And some of the things that we have going on right now with Famicos, we have the Gateway 105 Farmers Market, and that's open on Fridays and Saturdays. On Fridays, it's open from 3 to 7, and then on Saturdays, it's open from 1 to 4. So if you want some fruits and veggies, we have cheese, salsa, that kind of thing, you'll definitely want to come out. It's located at 1322 East 105th Street. And they do have an indoor building, so if the weather is bad or that kind of thing, you'll know that you can go inside and get those things. They also have designated parking as well. And we do accept EBT, WIC, cash, and credit cards. Another cool thing that's happening with Famicos is that we've been doing vaccines, COVID vaccines. And we have a pop-up clinic actually tomorrow from 10 to 1. It's going to be at the Huff Multipurpose Center, which is located at 8555 Huff Avenue. And we'll have all 3 vaccines there. So we'll have Pfizer, Moderna, and Johnson & Johnson. We'll also have the flu shot available as well, and we'll be doing the first shot, second shot, and then booster shots. And just in general, it's encouraged that all adults 65 and older should get the booster shot if it's been 6 months since your second shot. And as well, all adults who are at high risk of severe COVID due to underlying medical conditions, or just adults who are frequently in positions due to their job where they could be exposed to COVID, should also get their booster if it's been 6 months since their second shot. And in general, also, Pfizer is now approved for children 5 and up. Another cool thing that's happening with Famicos is we have an expungement and vaccine clinic that's going to be going on in December, on December 11th. And that will be happening from 9 to noon at the Glenville Rec Center. And that is going to be good because if you have any outstanding warrants, or if you feel like those things are holding you back from moving forward and that kind of thing, we can definitely help you. Our legal team, they'll be able to seal minor criminal records, and they also will be able to help with some outstanding warrants as well. And those services are provided for free or for minimal cost, and so they can be done pretty quickly. So now I'm going to turn to my guests, Sadie Sandlin and Adrian Mosley, and they're from the Tax Lab, and I just wanted you all to introduce yourselves and kind of talk about what types of services your program provides.
Wonderful. Well, I'm Sadie Sandlin. I am the site coordinator for the VITA program we run here at Famicos Foundation as part of the Earned Income Tax Coalition here in Greater Cleveland, or in Cuyahoga County is more of the term they utilize. I'm for Famicos Foundation specific, I'm the program manager.
I'm Adrian Mosley, site coordinator at Famicos as well. And the tax program is big for us, so we enjoy doing that program, and it's a big aid in the community as well.
What types of services do you all offer people?
Okay, first and foremost, we have an array of developmental services, different things like that. But my main goal is the tax program. The tax program is year-round with Famicos. We're one of the, I think it's 3 sites, I'm not sure, that's open from January through October the 15th. A little longer because of COVID-19. And we also do shoes and clothes for children. We distribute about 3 to 4 times a year, and lease to purchase homes. We're into low-income housing and renting, to different individuals within the community to help them further their progress in the community.
And when should people start reaching out to you all about their taxes?
Wonderful. So while our preparation period won't begin until January, the coalition has informed us that scheduling can begin December 1st.
Okay, great. And what makes the tax lab different or special in comparison to other tax services?
Well, that's one of 3 things. Number one, we have a virtual, whereas a person might not want to come in to have their taxes done. They want to do it via Zoom or, different types of programs like that, where they go give us an email. We can get in contact with them. They can send their information over to us. We can scan it in, which is also part of the virtual process, where we send it out to volunteers around the area or from wherever they are, and we could do it that way. We also do in person, and we also provide services. Some people do not like to walk the area to get to the tax lab, so we can meet them in the lobby. In years past, or last year, we did the driveway run, where we might have to do that for some people that just want to come in and drop their information off, make copies of their information, and then go back to their car and pick up at another time or remain in their car until it's done. Okay.
And if someone was wanting help with their taxes, how should they go about contacting you all? And also, what actions would they need to take moving forward?
Wonderful. So those seeking appointments can connect online at refund.org. They can connect by phone using the resource line 211 and or by contacting our office directly at 216-791-6476. Our extensions are 244 for myself and 266 for Mrs. Mosley.
262.
262. Thank you very much. And as with any call, they should be prepared to introduce themselves and with pen and paper to collect information for the appointment.
And do people then need to schedule appointments, or are they allowed to walk into?
We are going by appointment only because, number one, some people have more than 1 year. So it's better to make an appointment because the hours are different on different days. The upcoming year, 2022, the hours Tuesday through Thursday will be 2 to 5 in the afternoon or 1:30. On Fridays and Saturdays, because we do have Saturday appointments as well, and that's going to range from 10 to 2.
Okay.
So it's wise to make an appointment because there's a time slot. If you have more than 1 year of taxes, each slot has a time. Okay, say your first appointment is at 10 to get your first set of taxes done, and then from there, 15 minutes to a half an hour for the next appointment.
Okay. And what documents does someone need to bring to that appointment then?
All right, thank you. As volunteers in partnership with the IRS, we're expected to uphold the highest standards of ethical, or held to the highest ethical standards. And legal process requires source documents.
Okay.
So most importantly, therefore, a valid identification and matching social security card are used in order to confirm and protect the identity of our clients and their dependents. And original tax income and investment forms such as W-2s or 1099s, mortgage and school 1098s, and for the sole proprietor or independent contractor, the record of the recorded business and any expenses and receipts that they collected during that year.
Okay. And Also, just in general, what do you all enjoy about working at the tax lab, both of you?
Well, that can stem for a difference of amount because you have seniors. Seniors need a little bit more care at times with doing their taxes, why they have to do them, because you know they're on Social Security, and in past years they never had to file their Social Security because it wasn't recorded as an income. So now that they have stimulus, child tax credits, and different things like that, they have to file a return in order to get those products from the government. So I like working with the seniors more so anybody else because they want you to take that extra time just to explain to them why they have to do something that they have never had to do.
Yeah.
For me, it's always enjoyable because we always get that first time person who's experiencing taxes for the first time ever, whether it is the youth that has obtained that first job and they're learning what taxes are all about, or whether it's a spouse who maybe their spouse who has passed had always handled that side of business and they've never had to do it before. We get an opportunity to meet with them one-on-one, educate them about what the process of taxes mean and how to capture that information on all areas, from as far back as the W-4 on through to the tax filing.
And about volunteers, are there any volunteer opportunities that are going on right now?
Yes, I have my cheat sheet, so I don't miss anything. So yes, this year we seek to recruit at least 5 volunteers with a willingness to learn. We ask that you plan to give us 3 hours of each day based on our schedule and the days that they choose. They do get to choose that. With enough volunteers, the work pace is always the most comfortable. What they get is they'll work from a personal assigned station with individual materials with some personal protective equipment as needed. They receive daily orientation. They have us on site as site coordinators to answer any questions they may have and to walk them through any process, which soon really for them becomes second nature. The program offers continual education credits, free meals, quality time, and a transferable skill that lasts a lifetime. What they provide is a free service to those who need it most at tax time. They get to join a team which helps to put monies back into the communities in which they serve. And they also become an example of someone in the community who cares.
That's great, yeah. And I guess you did kind of answer like what would be beneficial for someone in doing that. Are there any other things that you feel like you've seen people in the past as volunteers like come away with that was really beneficial?
Well, going with the changes of today, the volunteers get to learn firsthand on what's out there as far as programs are concerned, the different tax laws, and they might have a group of people at a church or something that they can explain what the benefit is of doing their taxes, doing it in a timely basis, what the penalties are, and different things like that. So I think, that's very beneficial, especially to the community, because they're getting firsthand information on what could or would be. So, yeah.
That's great, yeah.
Wonderful. Good evening.
Also, so just in general, what would you say a goal is that you have for your program?
Goal for our program.
Like what do you hope for?
To better connect consumers' understanding of how tax law and paying their taxes build into being a part of the community in which they reside. Because that's the connection I think that most people miss when they say IRS. They don't understand that it is a service, but it's based on an internal revenue code, which plays a big role in the services which are generated within each community.
That's great, yeah. And now we're joined by Candace Wood, who is part of the Home Ownership Resource Center, and you're here to discuss that.
Yes.
Could you just start by introducing yourself and what you do and what types of services HRC does?
Sure. First, I want to say thanks for having me. It's a delight to be here. Looking forward to it. A little nervous, but we'll make it through. So my name is Candace Wood. I'm the manager of the Home Ownership Resource Center at Famicos Foundation. And the types of services that we provide include, a holistic approach. So counseling services surrounded with the idea that we're providing financial wellness for the client as well as, their household to put them in a better financial space and situation. So specifically the services we provide are pre-purchase home ownership counseling. And that would include, assisting them with navigating financing options for a home, as well as looking at any down payment or closing cost assistance programs that are out there, in and around Cuyahoga County to assist them with that home ownership goal. We also do post-purchase counseling. So, it's important, of course, to, help the individual get into a home, but also helping them understand what comes with home ownership. So continuing that support with them. So even though they may be coming through for, counseling for the home ownership, once they buy a home, that doesn't mean that ends their relationship with us. We're still there to provide services and programming for them to assist them and kind of be, that trusted partner during that time of home ownership. Also, we provide financial education and financial coaching, which would include, creating a budget, looking at their monthly cash flow, helping them to establish a savings plan. A higher level goal from that would be, connecting them with someone to help them learn how to do, some investing. So once we get over, we start to establish that, they do have an opportunity to save. There's money in their budget. We help them with that. And then once we start that savings, then, some folks decide that they want to move forward with looking at, maybe investing in Roth IRAs and things like that. And so we would help them, connect with those services and make those determinations. Another piece would be credit assessment. So looking at improving their credit, as well as helping individuals establish credit. Whether it is for the purpose of purchasing a home or just because they want to learn more and, have a better credit profile. Because as we know, in our society today, much revolves around credit, right? Yeah. So, it's so important to make sure that we, again, provide that service to help them be, in a strong position with looking at other, opportunities and services in the community. Rental affordability counseling is something else that we offer, as well as eviction and foreclosure prevention services.
That's great. And are there any qualifications that someone would need for eligibility for these services?
So, in general, we're open to anyone who needs assistance, in any of those areas. So if they're looking to purchase a home, they need help with, their financial situation. Maybe they have a landlord-tenant issue, or, rental affordability situation, or they're facing eviction or homelessness. We're there to help. So in general, no. They don't need to, there's no specific criteria that has to be met in order for them to come to us for help. We're here, okay? Now, there are some of our programs specifically, say something like our Eviction Prevention program, which provides financial assistance to those who are in a situation where they may be facing eviction. A program such as that would have specific requirements that they would need to meet. But in general, the majority of the individuals that we see meet those criteria. So I wouldn't, I would suggest that someone not self-eliminate.
Yeah.
Come see us, talk to us, we'll make that determination.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
If someone was wanting to utilize your services, how should they go about connecting with you or contacting you?
So, many ways to get in contact with us. We're right there at 1325 Ansel Road. So they can always, come in person to schedule an appointment. They can also call our main office, at the 216-791-6476 number, or they can visit our website. So the website is www.famicos.org. We're actually in the process of establishing a new web address to make it a little simpler. So until that's established, I don't want to give that out, but they can also email to helpwithhousing.org.
Okay, thank you. And what would a meeting look like if someone was meeting with you? What would that look like?
So, each individual is going to be different. We do have, a basic plan of action that we try to follow to make sure that, again, we're, assessing. So I like to use, like a doctor's appointment analogy, right? So you have your scheduled appointment, you go in, you tell us your symptoms,
Yeah.
right? Or what issues or problems you're having, and then we work with you to create a prescription, right? Or a treatment plan. Okay, so we would, have a discussion, much like any other counseling session. It's really a fact-finding conversation, and also a conversation to help the individual become more comfortable, with us and with, sharing sensitive information, because it's tough to talk about your finances or when you're in a really tough situation where oftentimes nobody knows what you're going through.
Yeah.
Because you make it look okay, right, on the outside. So it's just, kind of peeling back those layers, being comfortable in that space with the counselor, and then just going through, like I said, talking about what are the problems that they're facing, what are their goals, what do they want to accomplish, because essentially we're there as a coach or a partner in the journey to help guide, and, help correct and redirect, right? We're not the driver. They're in the driver's seat. It's their life, their journey. So we would go through, put together a budget. From that budget, we would determine, what their monthly finances are like, establish, a plan of action for creating a savings plan. If that's something, one of their goals. Looking at also putting together an action plan. So out of that action plan, we would, itemize the goals. And then we would go through and say, okay, well, looking at time frames, we'll establish, what's the estimated time frame, to which you should be able to achieve that goal if we stay on track,
Yeah.
It's not rigid. Again, they're in the driver's seat. Life happens.
Yeah.
No embarrassment, no judgment. We operate within a no judgment zone, right? No problem is, too big or embarrassing. We'll take you where you are, meet you where you are, and we work from there.
Yeah. And what are your goals for this program?
So I would say, the goal, which is, always been the goal, is definitely to continue to help, our, clients, residents, neighbors, right, in our community. So, within the service area that Famicos has traditionally serviced, as well as, looking at, individuals that are in our county, in Cuyahoga County, who need assistance. So just making sure that we're helping to help, individuals, families become, stronger financially, as well as increase home ownership, right, especially among our, Black and brown community. The numbers have dwindled significantly. We haven't really progressed in that area since the 1960s. We were at about the same level, I think, a couple of years ago or a year ago. And then through the pandemic, or through the housing foreclosure crisis that happened, back in about 2008, around when it started, we suffered. And it's so important that we, continue that effort to increase the home ownership numbers, as well as our financial wealth gap. That has increased significantly. And so, just being a good resource there to, again, give individuals the tools, the education, the support, right? The hope that they can improve their situation, whether they are, currently, in an unstable housing situation, we're here.
Yeah. And kind of going off of that, what would you say are the benefits of owning a house over renting one?
So, there's many benefits, and that's a question that, when working in this area, I've heard that before. We have family members, we have friends, people in our communities, our trusted, people in our communities or in our lives. And so you get different messaging. Some people believe that it's better to, remain a tenant and the pros and cons of that. Some people believe that it's better to become a homeowner, and there are pros and cons related to that. And so that's one of the things that we look at as well. If someone is in a rental situation, we would do a rental versus buying analysis to, give them those pros and cons and see which situation really is going to be best for them. But ultimately, home ownership is the American dream. Right? We all want to, or we all are entitled to owning a piece of America. So with that, I would say, the home ownership piece is important because it gives you an opportunity to build wealth. It's an asset, so there's many things you can do with your home. If you own it outright, you can refinance it, take money out, send kids to college, pay off other debt, save it for retirement, or even use your home as part of your retirement plan, right? If you're a tenant, you don't get that option. You're paying, we have to pay to live somewhere. We all have to pay to have a roof over our heads in general. And so if you're investing in yourself through home ownership, that's sometimes the best way to go. Another pro of having a home is that you have stability. Right? So, your payment will stay the same. Your expenses generally stay about the same. Again, we help you set up a good budget so that you're saving some reserves for those, long-term maintenance issues. If you need to get a new roof, you need to get a water heater, things like that, right? So we have strategies that will teach, the individual to help them be stronger in that area. But ultimately, the long-term expense of being a tenant versus owning a home is much higher, and you don't get anything from it. When you move out of that rental property, you take nothing with you but the belongings you put inside of it. Right? So you've got the long-term wealth, you've got the generational wealth, so you can pass that home on to your family, right? So that then they could utilize it as an asset in their lives as well. So, yeah.
And could you possibly share a home ownership tip for any of our future clients that may be listening?
Well, let's see. Home ownership tip. So I would say, I'm thinking. I'm drawing a blank. I made a note of it. Let me look at my notes. I'm going to look at my cheat sheet. Give me just a moment. So, as far as, let me see, the tip. I had a tip. Let's come back to that.
Okay, yes, that's fine, that's fine. What would you say then is your favorite part about working in the Home Ownership Resource Center?
So working in the Home Ownership Resource Center is great because for me, it kind of fulfills one of my, my innate qualities is to help. And so it gives me the ability to help someone. And so I love it when, we're tackling an issue and we make some progress on that issue, right? So the person gets excited and they light up and they call and you can hear the excitement in their voice. My credit score went up. Awesome, right? Or I have a credit score, right? Or, you know, I saved my money, or I finished saving my money, you know, that I need to buy my home. So that's so exciting because it's fulfilling for me because I'm helping somebody achieve their goal.
Yeah.
And it's an admirable goal, right? And it's so important, you know, for that individual and, you know, their entire family, you know, if they have a whole, you know, like a family, like children and, you know, that type of thing. So.
And just a question about the services as well. Do you all also offer services to people who may be in emergency housing situations?
Yes, we do. We do have services for that. Specifically, we have a program that, you know, we are involved with to help with eviction prevention. And the first step, as with, you know, any of our counseling programs, is to, you know, definitely reach out to us, make contact, right? So that we can get a scheduled appointment with you, so that we can do an assessment to see, you know, what the emergency is, what else is that emergency affecting, so that we can, you know, again, work up that prescription, work up that treatment plan, so that we can make sure that not only are we tackling the, you know, the blaring issue right there, which is the, you know, the emergency housing, but if you need other supportive services, we're able to do that as well. You know, work out a plan with referring you to, you know, agencies that can help with the immediate need of being, you know, facing, say, you know, homelessness, or even, you know, with the foreclosure, we can help with that, foreclosure prevention, working with your lender through, you know, loss mitigation, as well as, you know, intervening in some landlord, you know, tenant situations to help with that. You know, maybe we're an advocate, right, for you. So maybe you need us to, you know, make contact with that landlord to have a discussion with them, because maybe that discussion will result in better solution finding than you dealing directly with that individual, right? The same thing with a bank, you know, in terms of the loss mitigation, you know, if you're a homeowner and you're facing foreclosure.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you possibly have that tip?
Well, you know what? And now my brain is focusing on the fact that I know I had one and I can't find my tip. Home ownership tip. Counseling. Start at step one. That would be the best tip. Individuals, you know, we get so excited, especially when we're looking to purchase a home. Okay, we wake up, we say, you know what? I hear all this buzz about what's going on in the housing market. I hear the mortgage industry is the best it's ever been. The rates are so low, you know. And the first thing they do is they go out looking and they call a realtor. The realtor may or may not take you out looking, because now they've changed their business models where they've become more aware of the fact that really the individual needs to have a pre-qualification for a mortgage before they should even start showing them homes. So, and that has taken some education in the industry as well, coming from the housing counseling side, because you have, as an individual, you have to be ready. The house is going to be there. The price is going to be the price. All of that is going to stay the same, no matter if you can get a mortgage or not. So you have to be ready. So the best way to get the individual ready is with a housing counselor. So you want to meet with a housing counselor first. Go through, you know, set up your prescription and your treatment plan, right? Work through whatever those issues are, so that when you do take the second step, which is speaking with a loan officer, because then they're also going to do a diagnosis, so to speak, of your financial situation. Hopefully with your work with the counselor, you have eliminated much, if not all, of whatever the barriers would have been for you being approved for that mortgage. It just makes for a smoother process. The loan officer is not the first person, or is not the individual that is going to really sit down with you and go through your credit report and say, this is how you know, this is what we need to do to work on this. They're not the ones that's going to set up a budget when they tell you, based upon my calculations, you can't afford this home that have now, you've gone under contract for. So lots of times people will go out of order. Step 1, see a housing counselor. Step 2, go to your mortgage lender. Step 3, start looking for a home with the realtor.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
You're very welcome.
And thank you to all of my guests for coming in today. And thank you to our listeners. And we'll see you next time.
Thank you.